Trevor here, Summit or Nothing, bringing you the top 10 highest mountains that Nath and myself have explored so far. Being based in Cornwall, as far from any mountain ranges that you can get in the UK, this modest list is definitely a work in progress, but we hope to grow more as the time goes on. But for now, let's have a look at our top 10 highest summits of Summit or Nothing so far.
Is our route?
Number 10, CRIBYN. At 795 metres, this small mountain in the Brecon Beacons is part of the Fan Horseshoe, and its views of the Brecon Beacons' largest mountain and the glacial hollowed out valley below are spectacular. We were lucky to have visited this mountain during some fantastic weather, and with minimum precipitation, we were spoilt with what seemed like endless views. Number 9, the Old Man of Coniston. This mountain, standing at 803 metres, is situated to the west of Coniston Lake in the Lake District, and was somewhat of a last minute end of the day march, pushing both Nath and myself to our limits both mentally and physically. And what time is it now?
10 to 7.
10 to 7?
We ran up here in about an hour.
In an emotional journey that saw us summit this grand little mountain in about an hour, the Old Man of Coniston is a mountain that will always be highly regarded by both of us.
Summit or Nothing!
In the Lake District.
Where are we going?
There.
Oh yeah, more up.
Number 8, MELL. Still in the Lake District, MELL is the smaller sister of Scafell Pike. At 807 metres above sea level, this mountain looms over Wasdale Head. After climbing England's tallest mountain, it seems a little journey in comparison to summit this smaller mountain, but I'd imagine to ascend from the village below would be no small task. I know that our descent down to Wasdale was hard work, to say the least, but then we were in thick fog, and I only had one boot at the time.
I can walk in my Nikes, can't I?
I was going to say, I've got Crocs you can borrow for tomorrow if you want.
Borrow Crocs?
Yeah, I got...
I'd never wear Crocs.
Corndew. South Wales' second highest peak sits at 873 metres from sea level and about half a kilometre from Fan. Many travel up to Fan via this mountain at the start of the Brecon's Way, but we had hopped across from the Big Guy itself, coming up the opposite route. So it wasn't much of a challenge after our initial climb to take in this summit. Number 6, Fan. At 886 metres, the largest mountain in the Brecon Beacons was an obvious choice for an impromptu last of the summer road trip, and the glorious weather made it well worth the journey. A long and challenging climb up the northern slopes took us the best part of the morning, and the summit of the August bank holiday was a busy and popular spot.
We queuing for the summit of another Welsh mountain.
Number 5, Cadair Idris.
Cadair Idris. Or the chair of Idris. Fat arse.
At the southern end of Snowdonia sits the illustrious Cadair Idris, or the chair of Idris, which saw our first ever mountain wild camp. 893 metres above sea, Cadair Idris is known as the mountain that spawns either poets or madmen, and our climb up the pony path was steady and enjoyable, with ever-changing views that deserved breathing in along the way. With plenty to explore and a brief scramble to the summit, Cadair Idris may not be the tallest mountain in Snowdonia, but it certainly is one of the best.
Is this nondescript boulder field, do you think?
Number 4, Tryfan. We remain in Snowdonia for the next mountain, and our second mountain ever climbed, the mighty Tryfan. This rocky mountain of 918 metres, Tryfan, named so for its 3 summits, was an eye-opener for us as 2 novice mountain hikers, as due to low cloud cover and inexperience with regards to navigation, saw us almost get completely lost.
Got completely lost. 2 kind people to help us. One thing I did notice, he's constantly checking his map.
We even made the summit in the mist, only to realise that it was one of the false summits.
Every now and again the mist here fades. That's the summit, not where we are. Once again, making ourselves look like complete idiots.
The Adam and Eve stones are key to identifying the real summit, and the challenge of leaping from one to the other is said to bring good luck to anyone brave enough to do it. Although it was a hard slog and quite a frightening experience in some respects, and a shock to our egos, Tryfan still remains one of our highlights and gives us a great sense of achievement looking back.
Hi, welcome to Summit or Nothing. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. This has all been a waste of time.
Number 3. Scafell Pike, England's highest mountain and the second of the 3 peaks that we ticked off. Scafell Pike in the Lake District is a beast of 978 metres. A long and arduous climb from Wasdale via the Brown Tongue Path seemed to me one of the hardest endurance climbs that we had done to date. Unlimited views of the path ahead meant that the summit seemed to be forever forthcoming.
Thought I could see the summit. But now I've gone up here and oh look, there's more climbing to do.
As we gained heights, the views opened up, and despite its bleak and ugly rocky summit, the mountain gave superb panorama of the surrounding national park that made the climb well worth the effort. Number 2. Snowdon. The first mountain we ever climbed, Snowdon was number 1 on our list of the 3 peaks because of its relative proximity to our home location. But another August bank holiday climb meant that we shared this climb with tens of thousands of other hikers, all with the same plan. The Ranger's Path was our chosen route up this mountain of 1,085 metres, and it was an ambitious and challenging climb for 2 lads who had only ever done a handful of Dartmoor hikes in preparation. Being able to see the summit and the path ahead was very often detrimental to the push required, especially when the scale of the mountain could be determined by the ant-like hordes making their way up the side.
It's like an army of ants all working across the ridge.
Yeah?
Up to the summit. There seems to be a queue. It does look like a mass of people on the summit already.
Commercialisation, my friend.
Yeah.
With a train ride to the top and a cafe for tourists, the summit of this mountain felt a little like a theme park and somewhat underwhelming, but ignore the crowds and look out at the surrounding area, we soon remembered why we were doing this. Number 1. Ben Nevis, the last mountain that we've tackled, and number 3 of our 3 peaks. Nevis in the Scottish Highland stands at a colossal 1,345 metres. However, due to having a handful of other mountains under our belts, this was one of our easiest climbs. We chose the lengthy but relatively safe tourist route from our accommodation at the Ben Nevis Inn, and our climb started off as brisk as any ever had.
Look, whether it's our day packs or our stamina, or both, we seem to be sort of overtaking more people than people overtake us.
Which is unheard of for a summit and nothing mountain adventure,
Isn't it?
A choice to cut out a loop by skipping up the side of the mountain proved ill-chosen, and the final zigzag weave was a little soul-destroying, and the early summer crowds that joined us dampened the sense of achievement somewhat. But Lady Luck was on our side once again with regards to the weather, and we managed to reach the iconic summit under a clear sky that left us marvelling at the views from the highest spot in the country. Be sure to check out the UK mountain hiking playlist for these and many other videos, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to join us as we plan to tick off many more mountains in the future.